I'm Stephen Foskett. Welcome to Tech Field Day, coming to you November 2016 from Silicon Valley. We're here with StorageOS and the delegates that we've brought in from around the world. These are folks who specialize in servers, storage, networking, and they are intending to be part of the discussion that you're about to see. If you'd like to learn more about Tech Field Day, come to techfieldday.com. And if you'd like to see more videos like this, just go to youtube.com/techfieldday.
We're really excited to be here today. This is our first Tech Field Day. We're a young company, but we really think we're in a position to be a dominant player in the container ecosystem. And everyone's talking about containers, and I think lots of people don't know what containers mean. Lots of people don't know how it transitions into the enterprise. There are names like Docker and lots of other companies out there trying to build an enterprise-ready ecosystem. And there's a problem. There's a big problem. You have a traditional infrastructure that has significant investment and very mature processes that run the systems that make the world go round today. And then on the flip side of that, you have an amazingly fast-moving development and DevOps community trying to deploy and scale applications at a record pace. And they're almost at diametric opposites of each other. And that problem is really coming to a head now. Containers as a technology make it really easy to deploy and build an environment, but they're stateless, and that stateless makes it difficult for people to other things like compliance and security. All of these issues make for a complex issue. What we're trying to do is help people leverage the container ecosystem in an enterprise context. We're a company called StorageOS, based in London. We have all come out of the financial services space, largely focused on making these stable infrastructures that I mentioned before. And what we're trying to do is extend this stability and flexibility into the container ecosystem with a container-based storage array. So cloud has changed the world. The expectations are different. We have people who are looking at building an environment, and they're expecting things to happen immediately. They're expecting new resources to come online. They're expecting to be able to do this without reading the manual, with it just working on the first click. And they're expecting to do that wherever they want to do it. And because it's businesses that have these expectations, there are things like security and complexity that are factoring into that. So we have been really focused on storage in that space. So the nature of containers means that they're stateless. When you reboot your container or you restart your environment, you lose your data. The concept of persistent storage is something that was taken for granted in the enterprise data center. The legacy infrastructures that exist don't provide direct connectivity to this container ecosystem, and they don't have the level of API integration that the container ecosystem needs. Other approaches to do this, gateways and distributed container systems, have performance issues, have challenges around scalability, and everyone's looking to run things in different locations. So you have to have portability and integration that doesn't yet exist in those spaces. Also, the level of management, as you look at an application scaling at web scale, being able to manage and grow and plan that environment is very difficult. Also, the cost models of these legacy infrastructures are difficult because people expect to pay for things as they use them, and that's not the way the infrastructure was built. When you bring this into the context of the enterprise, you also have the fact that there's significant investment, and people can't just throw out what they have today and reuse it. So at StorageOS, we kind of think this vision of the enterprise data center needs to shift slightly. What we're looking to do is allow people to build an enterprise data center that they can build and manage very easily, that is self-service and scalable, and the storage is able to run at the same level as the application. We're trying to bring storage into the CapEx away from the CapEx space and into the OpEx space. And we're allowing people to build the control into these systems that didn't exist before. We're trying to help people extend the enterprise nature of a data center into this new container ecosystem. And we're trying to let them do that in the infrastructure they have today, in the new bare metal environments they're building to run their containers, in their virtualization layer that they're currently deploying, but also into the cloud and managing control and security in that cloud platform while still delivering the cost reduction and time to market advantage that's driving the container revolution. So it's a complex task, and we need to do all that in a turnkey, instantly consumable solution. So what StorageOS is doing that's really quite different is solving an old problem with a new solution. If you take a legacy storage solution, you don't have the API and scalability that applications have. And other people that are trying to solve this problem are having to do integrations at a kernel level, at a much lower level. We've taken the perspective that storage should run at the application layer. And this is something that's really radically different. Because when you run storage at the application layer, then storage scales like an application. It changes the way that you plan, you provision, you secure, you manage, and most importantly, you control that data. So what we've built is a storage solution that integrates into the Docker ecosystem and the schedulers that wrap around that. Most people are used to a virtual machine scheduling environment, a very mature move your data around and schedule virtual machines. But again, the world is changing. There are new contenders for this scheduling and management infrastructure, and the storage environment has to integrate with this. Also, there are questions of, will it be a single dominant player? You've got cloud providers out there that need to be integrated with. You've got physical infrastructure providers, and you've got a new layer, a replacement for the hypervisor in a container operating system. And that level of integration is really important, but also the level of control is really important. So running a storage array, and it isn't just a gateway, it's a full enterprise storage array with all the functionality that you would expect in any other enterprise storage product, at an application level changes how you run your environment. And that change is actually really liberating, but it's also really important because you need to be able to change your organization as well. The good news is that organizational change is already happening. If you work at a business that has developers, if you have the DevOps movement happening, people are organizing and provisioning and growing their environment in very different ways. You have legacy infrastructure teams that have very mature processes that do things in a way that maintain service levels and business continuity. You have developers who want things instantly and want to do it very quickly. And that's a big contention point. You also have a culture where these two organizations don't necessarily interact very often. You don't have the context to do this. So on top of solving the technology problems, we're also looking to help solve some of the people problems in this space. We've built a solution that allows the developer to interact directly with the existing system, their Docker run command, and provision enterprise storage to their containers, make it persistent, make it durable, make it scalable, but do it in the context of a rules base that manages the enterprise service level and compliance that it needs to deliver. This problem of storage in the enterprise being able to scale and grow is clearly an organizational one as much as it is an infrastructure one. If you scale that to the next level, you come to a whole new problem, and that's around what happens when you leave the enterprise data center. You burst into the cloud, you run your test dev in the cloud, maybe you run between clouds. All of those new functionalities and the concept of public cloud beg lots of questions about security, policy, data residency, compatibility that you have to ask about. So this is where the beauty of running at the application level comes back in, because we have a solution that is extrapolated from the physical layer, is movable, but still leverages the rules base that allows your customers to take this system into production and maintain their security and compliance. So what is StorageOS? We're a 40 megabyte container that runs in a container operating system. We provide a global namespace that provisions volumes to your applications. We enable you to run databases and persistent storage devices within that space, and we allow you to move things around while integrating with schedulers and management systems like Swarm and Kubernetes, so that devices and storage get scheduled on the same node for best performance and best latency, and that your databases have the availability, durability, and persistence that you need to run enterprise applications. Most importantly, we focus on delivering a developer experience that is turnkey and out of the box, but we provide a rules-based infrastructure that allows the enterprise to define and grow their environment. So this has some key business benefits for the enterprise. The first thing is we're enabling enterprise class storage and the management, reporting, and compliance that goes around with it at the container level. Because we're running at that application level, we're running with the containers in the same platform, you have the same concepts and management and cloud-like experience, but that requires really sophisticated integration, which is where our IPR sits. You have to be able to deliver mobility, you have to be able to deliver the performance to make these systems run and be reliable, and you have to do it in a way that's both easy for the developer to provision, oftentimes not even knowing that StorageOS is there, while the enterprise is running on infrastructure that the developer may not know about, and it's running in a way that meets the business rules associated with that. Most importantly, security becomes even more important, both at rest and in flight. So we're very focused on providing the security to make this data live and move around your data centers as it needs to do so. So we're focused on three key use cases in this environment. The first one is databases and containers. This is things like MongoDB, Postgres, MySQL, Couchbase, running in containers, next to containers, highly available, scalable, in your data center, in your virtualized environment, or in your cloud. We're also looking at the CI/CD space, allowing what is probably the most common utilization of containers today to have scalable, rapid access data sets to be more reliable in its testing and much more quickly provisioned, so that in you're looking at the software development space, continuous integration with Jenkins can generate faster code delivery and much better quality. Finally, we're focused on helping enterprises get to the cloud. And that can be a container discussion, or that can be a broader discussion, but it's about managing data in the cloud and securing things where they live, and allowing people to break the lock-in of cloud providers. There's a big strategy in the industry right now of cloud getting packaged in with large IT vendor sales, and people are running into the cloud because they've bought lots of it because it was cheaper to do that than not buy the cloud. And they have lots of questions about being able to do that securely, being locked in, and being able to grow and scale that. And we're really hoping to help them solve those problems in a really simple and business-driven way. The other thing that happens kind of as a byproduct is the enterprise manageability, scaling, growing volumes, providing management, which didn't really make its way into the existing container storage concept. Because your storage array is running in those containers, you get the ability to do that growth and scaling in a much easier way. So who are we? We're a group of professionals who've come out of the London financial services banks. We're we started the organization back in 2013. We left trying to understand how commodity hardware and software-defined storage could have a place in the enterprise. And we really saw containers as the way forward in that space because it's a market that requires new infrastructure, new deployment. It's pushing the boundaries of the data center, and it's very software defined and software aligned. But we came at this having been storage professionals, having been operators, builders of large IT infrastructures, trying to deliver a solution that solved the problems that we had to solve in our normal daily lives every single day. We're coming into a market that's radically changing. You see IT spend on traditional disk and disk arrays slowing. You see the growth of the cloud storage market surging dramatically in the last few years. And you see this shift of people spending on OpEx rather than CapEx. And we're really trying to enable this idea. We're a well-funded pre-release company. Our product's in beta today, and we're looking to do a Series A next year. So as an organization, you have to build the integration and you have to work with the vendors in the ecosystem to make this work, to make it easy for people to consume. So we focused on the existing industry bodies, the Cloud Native Compute Foundation and the Linux Foundation, and Docker, our largest partner. We've recently been named an ecosystem technology partner for storage. That's their highest level of partnership, and that we're fully integrated out of the box with Docker and Swarm to deliver a highly available, connected and integrated storage solution for the Docker data center and Docker ecosystem. And as we expand beyond this, things like Docker in Microsoft, Docker on Mac, etc., will continue to extend our partner ecosystem and grow that environment. So we're in this interesting position. We're building a solution to be consumed by developers that has to drive the tasks that infrastructure teams need and want and have to integrate with. So we need to be focused on a customer journey that is very careful and very easy to use. So we have an integrated platform. It's a container. It makes it very easy to download and install. We run at the application level, so you don't have to make kernel level changes, which makes it much easier for us to integrate with third-party service provider or cloud provider platforms. And we're very focused on this 15-minute time to value, immediate ROI. It's the frictionless sale for the developer, but it's also the frictionless sale for the infrastructure team. We're building a solution that allows infrastructure managers to define the requirements of the environment around where the data lives, how it's moved, how it's stored, and the performance of that environment from inception, from the first provisioning of the storage, and report on that. And then also, we're really focused on allowing customers to have access to that. So we're priced for developer adoption, but we scale to enterprise adoption. So we integrate directly with a developer environment, and we scale out as they need to grow from a free license to a professional license, which will go GA early next year, to our enterprise license, which will come out later next year. So it's about providing the enterprise features and the cost and capacity alignment that cloud delivers, but in the location the enterprise needs to do so. So if you move ahead, I started this talking about the perfect storm that's arrived, the developers and the cultural change of an organization trying to accelerate the way things are done, and infrastructure teams trying to provide sanity and stability in a very quickly changing world. We think we built a solution that solves the problem of persistent storage and allows databases to be run in a container platform in an enterprise-ready and mature way. We've built a technology that runs inline for things like compression, encryption, deduplication. But we've taken that responsibility of the business rules and we've automated that. We've made it very easy for a developer, as one of our customers said, to have a safe padded room to deploy their infrastructure in, while the infrastructure teams maintain and continue to deliver the service levels and compliance that they need to do so. But it's a very powerful solution. If you think about the concept of hyper-converged containers and even hyper-converged at a node level or a virtual machine level, you change the latency characteristics of storage and you change the way that you scale those environments. And that's a very powerful idea. And it also requires powerful integrations, which we've focused a lot of our resources on. We realized that if an enterprise is going to use this, it needs to be at least as good, if not better, than the legacy infrastructures that we're displacing or integrating with. And it has to pay for itself immediately. So it's really an enterprise storage array running at the cloud level, but providing technology in existing environments. A developer could download this in their laptop and have it up and running in minutes to do their test, a zero-cost POC, but an enterprise could build a rules base and start to deploy a production Docker cluster in the same amount of time. So it's a very different technology adoption cycle and a very different way to do things.